Did you know that a brand story can actually be the difference between you being overlooked versus you actually standing out amongst your competition? That's how powerful a brand story is. So when I got asked the question of what are brand stories, I jumped at the chance, obviously, to answer it because it's super important to know about. So before we get stuck into this video, please make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe to this channel because I share content like this. I want to make sure that you guys are always clued up on anything to do with branding, but equally the true impact that branding can actually have on you as a business or you as a corporate brand identity. However you identify, branding is for you because it can help you to do so much more with building the awareness of who it is that you are and why it is that you really do what you do. Now, the reason why I speak super passionately about this stuff is because I'm a branding specialist. Branding is what I do and then some. But equally, I also help others to see that they're more than what they see. By the way, my name is Tanya and I'm the founder of the T&G Designs Group Limited. I've helped a number of people to literally start making sure that they are building their brand awareness, positioning themselves as that authoritative figure, but more so doing so in a way that's actually congruent to their beliefs, their standards, and really, as I said before, the real reason behind why they do what they do. And folks, I also help them to understand this key part. Representation really does matter. And when you understand that for yourself, you start realizing that, you know what, you're an example of a way forward. That means that so many people need to see you in your position to be able to understand that not only can I make it or they make it to that same spot too, but equally they are there to be able to understand that, you know what, this person can really help me to move. And that's what we're doing as businesses, folks. We are helping others to move away from what's not working for them, all the way through to moving towards what will definitely work for them in order to be able to level up and make a difference for their own selves. That being said, folks, I talk like this a lot. However, what I also do is share valuable content. So please make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel because, as I said before, I share content just like this. And that also means that I will always make sure that you come away from any lesson that I teach you or anything that I actually share with you with an action to do. And I've got a really cool, super key action that I want to make sure that you partake in at the very, very end of this video. So, folks, let's just get stuck into it. So, as I said, we're going to be talking about what are brand stories. Now, your brand story, in a nutshell, is essentially the key phrase or the key element that will help you to start positioning yourself as that authoritative figure. Now, what do I even mean about becoming an authoritative figure? Well, I'm talking about the go-to expert, the person that people will reach out to because they know that they're going to get super amazing, valuable information off the basis of literally just having listened to your story. That's how powerful it can actually be. Your brand story can actually help a customer or a client to be able to establish whether or not you're the right person for them. Your brand story can equally help to establish whether or not they actually choose, as in your audience, actually chooses to go work with your competitor or not. That's how powerful of an impact your brand story can actually be. Now, I'm going to share with you some examples as to what that can even look like, right? And the differences between you having one versus you not having one. But before I get into that, as I said to you, I'm always about giving lessons and I'm always about making sure that you take things away in bite-sized chunks, right? So 3 key things that I always want you to remember when it comes to constructing your brand story, right? Or even understanding what a brand story is. These 3 key elements will help you to make sure that you are always hitting home on key points that will literally allow you to start making better connections with your audience, especially if you're technically not having a great response with them already. Now, the first thing I want you to make sure that you're thinking of is how you're relating to them, as in your audience. So this is all about them, right? When you're constructing a brand story, it's all about them, meaning your audience. Who are you speaking to? So always bear that in mind. So when it comes to this first part, which is relate, how you're relating to your audience. Now, because we're talking about story, we're talking about your brand story. What part of your story, what part of your experience, your personal experience, or even your corporate brand experience, have you been a part of, or have you had, or have you literally experienced that can really, really hit home with the people that you're talking to? How can you resonate with them? What is that key factor? What is that key story that you can literally just think about in the past? For me, my key story that I actually use, or the way how I relate to other people, was the fact that I was actually made redundant from a past job that I had. A lot of people can really resonate with that. So on that note, what is the story for you? Now, the next key thing I want you to think about is how you're actually connecting with them. Because really, folks, I sort of touched base this already, if you're especially trying to build a better connection with them, how are you actually connecting with them? Now, I always use things or phrases, in fact, to be able to start connecting, to be able to start other people's minds relating back to those key points as well, so that they can remember it for themselves, how it made them feel, that emotional feeling, right? Essentially, your connection, the thing that you're trying to build, is allowing you to tap into that emotion. Because with that, their ears start perking up. They start paying more attention. So now for me, my connection piece was using phrases like, have you ever felt a time in their life where you've literally just had the rug pulled out from underneath you? That's your connection. How can you connect immediately with them so that they get it? Now, this third and final thing that you should always take home and make sure that it's in your back pocket along with these other two things is to make sure that, literally, I've actually been talking about it before when I was talking about relate, is resonating. Now, how are you resonating with them? And here's what I mean by resonating with them. I mean, how are you actually making sure that the things that you're relating to, the things that you're connecting with them, with your audience on, are actually resonating, as in really hitting home with them? Because you can relate to somebody, you can connect with somebody, but if you're not making it hit home, if you're not making it feel that emotion, or feel that level of, oh my gosh, they really do get me, because it's essentially what you're helping them to do, is to really understand that you understand them, as well as they get that point of you understanding them. If you're not hitting home or resonating with them when it comes to your brand story, then the connection will be weak. The way that you relate to them will also be weak. So the resonating factor literally brings everything home. So now for me, how I resonated with people was helping them to understand the emotional side of things, that feeling of, what does it feel like to be made redundant? You feel let down. You feel like you're not worthy of that role that you're in the first place. You feel like you're not of any value. But equally, you also feel like, do you know what? What am I even doing here? Does this even make sense? You start questioning your own skill. Those key elements are there to be able to help others to resonate with what am I really, really talking about here. And again, it's also tapping into that emotion. So folks, really think about, how do those three key things, when it comes to understanding what are brand stories, how do they resonate with you now? How does it really hit home with you, right? And when you are thinking of what your own brand story could be, please do not fake this. You are an integrity kind of a brand. You are a brand who is all about honesty. So do not fake it. Really talk from the heart, because that's where you start building honest and, again, connections with integrity, right? If you want to work with fake people, well, then start creating fake things. How about that? But if you want to work with real people who actually connect and resonate with your brand, then use the real stories that you have within you. And yes, you do have them. Don't feel like you've got to make it up or use ChatGPT or any other kind of AI platform to help you to create the story. No, you have it. You have it within you. So use it to your advantage in a good kind of a way, and in a way that is actually authentic to you specifically as a brand. Now, I will be putting out videos, if they're not already out, all talking about the idea of how to create an actual brand story when you're a personal brand. Equally, also how to create a brand story when you're also a corporate or business brand as well. Because yes, there is a slight difference between them. And I want to make sure I focus in on videos that actually really hit home on those key specific things. So folks, I'm going to leave it there for this one. But at the same time, please make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel, because I'm very, very aware as to all the views, which is absolutely brilliant. But I want to make sure now you're doing that one step next further, which is making sure that you actually go ahead and subscribe to this channel as well. So On top of that, please make sure you also go share it with other people who are like-minded, who are thinking of ways to make sure they level up with not only the awareness of what it is that they do, but equally why it is that they do it. And to be able to understand those factors, tap into my principles. These are the things that I want to make sure that you now go ahead and action, even when I'm not around. Get to grips with these principles because they will help you to literally start making them, building those better connections with an audience that you actually want to work with. But even more so, they will help you to build your brand story. So now, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe to this channel once again. And as always, I will see you on the other side.